My name is Diana Strange, and I am president of the Washington County Historical Society. This is on Fayetteville. So we have two members of the board of directors, Compton and Alison, who have written a wonderful book.
I would love to get pictures if Charlie will write the book, because Charlie has his own Fayetteville history website. He knows everything, and it's been great to work with Charlie. Of revenues that come in from the sale of the book goes to the Washington County Historical Society. So we're proud of that. Large painting of the Fayetteville Square in 1871. And Hott said, I am sure this was done for the centennial of the bank.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's correct. Barbara, is that correct?
This was
Jackie?
commissioned in 1971 for our anniversary, which was 1871.
Yeah. Okay. So that's when he did it, and that's why he did it, and it's been hanging ever since.
This was the McElroy Dry Goods building where we're standing right now. McElroy Bank was just a couple buildings over. After it was McElroy Dry Goods, it became what's probably known in most of the people's memories here as the Boston Store. Yes. And Ellen is going to tell you about the Boston Store because she has fond memories of Boston Store.
Yes, I do. The Boston Store, and it was the place to go for everything fancy and good. I mean, if you got something from the Boston Store, Rita Brewer's beauty shop was upstairs, and that is where everybody went to get their hair cut. And my friend Connie and I came from Bentonville to get our hair cut for our, high school years, right up there.
His son, Benjamin Stone, took over, and the store became Stone Albright, and it lasted up until the 20s. One of Benjamin Stone's sons is Edward Durrell Stone, the architect who's well known in Fayetteville, but also well known internationally for a really well known architect. His family operated on this corner for most of the 19th century and into the 20th century. There's a historic plaque here that lets you know that one of the first Confederate companies organized in Fayetteville, it occurred on this corner. The Geisinger building is one of, I think, 4 buildings on the square that are on the National Register of Historic Places. It was originally called Crenshaw's Hardware Store, and if you look on page 53, you'll see a picture of it. Geisinger's was a music company. Most of you probably shopped there if you were in Fayetteville during the 60s, 70s, or earlier. Geisinger's originally started on the east side of the square, over close to Campbell Bell, and moved over here when this became available, and operated for close to probably 90 years here on the square. They sold pianos, sold any kind of musical instruments you could want to find, had lessons, that sort of thing. And their name's preserved. The family sold the building, I want to say early 90s, to the Odom law firm, which still operates in the building. Yeah, the grocery store, Piggly Wiggly was actually here on the square for part of the century, early 20s and 30s. Free medical clinic was offered upstairs of this building in 1940. It was a doctor named Wells Lefevre, who operated it. He was a doctor and a chiropractor, and I'm not sure why he opened a free clinic, except that it was near the end of the Depression. He may have felt a need to help out people who couldn't afford medical care. He was walking in between the building here and the Washington Hotel on the other side. You can see that corner when you're looking down at it. this is one of the older buildings on this first. Mrs. Young building that will be over there is probably the oldest building. Right J.C. Penney's was right here on the corner, and they expanded into this part of the building as well when it quit being a theater. Before the Civil War, the First Christian Church built a church on this corner. If I remember right, it was 1859. It lasted through most of the Civil War, but at some point, apparently there was somebody in Fayetteville who just liked to start fires and managed to burn down both the courthouse and the First Christian Church sometime in that time frame. The First Christian, of course, moved eventually to where Arkansas College had been on College Avenue. After the war, the Tremont Hotel was built on this site. When the tornado of 1880 came through, it wrecked this building, also killed the wife of the owner of the hotel. And so this corner was pretty devastated at least 2 or 3 times. After the Tremont, the Washington Hotel was built. Ellen remembers during late in its life when the university had a huge rush of extra students. They put up a whole bunch of female students at the Washington Hotel. Furniture, scouting uniforms. I got my Cub Scout uniform there. 80s, 1890s, and early 1900s. So a lot of the older photos, if you see them on the carte de visite, they'll have her signature on there, and it'll say Mrs. Young, whatever first name. Yeah. And at least while here, she, if there was a husband, he didn't exist.
Oh, we're back.
Prior to being the Bank of Fayetteville, it was Lewis Brothers Hardware store, and was built as Lewis Brothers Hardware, and it's on the National Register now. The original Bank of Fayetteville was in this building, and used to be, you could see the word bank just above the little entry there on the oh, it's below, yeah, you still can. It's hidden a little bit by the canopy right now, but it was started before the turn of the 20th century and lasted, I don't think it lasted as long as this Bank of Fayetteville has already. But it's now the Easton building. It's also on the National Register of Historic Places.